All right, traders, we're back and we're going to be looking at the charts and taking a look at what's going on and what happened for me. So I'm taking my trading a lot more seriously, trading it more like a hobby. Sorry, treating it more like a business and a lot less like a hobby. I'm super busy. I've got surf season now. Um I'm doing all kinds of things. I'm doing the dolphin tours and the hiking tours. And I just don't need trading to be emotionally exciting. So this is how I'm trading, always using a stop, always risking a percentage, always either entering with a limit or MTP, which is my system that ends around the daily close, which I could do today if there's a trade, and always exiting with a limit or at most closing partial, but try to focus on limits. As for his trades, this week, slight profit, right? So I hit a winning trade on Bitcoin, which we'll look at, a losing trade on Near, and a losing trade on Popcat. I'm concerned that the Popcat trade, I thought I risked like $700, so maybe a liquid and got slipped. Near was about right. So first, let's look at, actually, let's start by looking at the trades. I was looking for price to hit this monthly high, but I took an extra conservative TP right here. I guess I could have aimed higher. And I was looking to get in with price coming back and tucking in one of these fair value gaps, which it hit. And I set my stop to allow for a sweep here. And we tagged out of it. So at this point, we'll look at where we are now. And maybe we just go higher, but I'm quite interested in um, I don't think it's likely to happen, but if price comes back to this lower consolidation, I think it would make a great buy. Near was not a great trade that I realized after the fact, but I didn't risk that much, so it's okay. Um, Popcat is, yeah, I guess I didn't run my stop wide enough. I ran it just inside of this. I could have run it much further. Um, I don't know that it will end up mattering, but I did take a loss on that, and it looked pretty good. The problem, I think, is just the bullish setup across the market in general. So let's go ahead and take a look at what opportunity there is now. Gold is just absolutely pushing. I wonder if it's going to hit 3,000 this year. It's so far away, but silver. We had another update on the stocks, which made up for the loss yesterday. US S&P 500 at a new all-time high. Okay, so let's go ahead and now take a look. Bitcoin. Now I know from like this is the first time we hit an old monthly high um, of any age since March. So it's been a really long time. And the first time we hit a recent local high since February 24. I'm expecting higher, but I want to be careful and I want to see what's under the hood. I've been calling for new all-time highs, and I'm trying to trade there. So we'll see how we can go ahead and maybe consider getting into this. Um, Although I'm still not necessarily ruling out trading shorts, but yeah, we kind of crossed that line in the sand where I was looking at, all right, here's a short signal. Well, we've closed over this. So we've got a breakout long signal on altcoins. So to me it actually is makes sense to I don't really want to trade altcoins. I prefer Bitcoin or ETH, but it doesn't really make sense to be short. Right. Yesterday was our line in the sand and we are appear to be above it. Total is the only one that hasn't hit a monthly just because ETH sold off so bad. So let's get a quick sample of the market near Popcat stacks. Basically every short has failed. Although Arkham, I said expecting higher prices because of short float didn't really do it. BNX is the only one that I'm saying expecting higher and it's continuing to dump. Maybe there's some important news there, but look, everything's kind of breaking out. So let's go ahead and look at the chart. But I will say something that I'm gonna look at Bitcoin ETH. I'm also gonna look at Near and um, the other one that I lost, Popcat. Yeah, not exiting was really helpful because part of me wanted to get out of here, but yeah, that was a pretty good entrance or decent entrance. I got in right here, didn't get stopped. I tagged out right here. Originally my TP was 26.7, which hit perfect. So maybe could have snagged an extra 500 bucks there, but it's okay. So first let's look at, I'm just gonna load them up. Uh, Funding rate. I care. I don't know that. Yo, the funding rate actually went negative. Unbelievable. Unreal. Is it because everybody TP'd or is it because everybody went long? But it just continuing to look like higher. And what would have worked well? Yeah, at least I'm glad that I got a piece of that move right there. ETH, we'll come back to that one. I also want to look at near. But yeah, it's just gonna be looking for longs right now because near and Popcat. I want to look at the ones that I lost, what they looked like. I want to get the losers out of the way first. Okay. So the problem with near, which I knew, was this CVD line pointing up. I cannot be a buyer in that circumstance. So that was the problem. I mean, it's totally jacked with leverage longs here. Hugely jacked. So it will, at some point, at some point there will be a pullback and a big nuking. But that only happens when spot sells, not when spot buys, right? So all these leverage longs are in some kind of a position of power, but we see leverage is as high as it was back in March and April on near. So that is a danger. But it doesn't necessarily matter once buyers come in and they together with leverage push up the price and there's just not a chance for price to come back. Popcat was maybe fine. I think if anything, it's just the market itself. I mean, honestly, I like Popcat. I liked the trade. It didn't work. Open interest. Maybe this line up wasn't as steep as wanted. And I think here the problem is just the bullishness of the market in general. So important to go, oops, daily levels and gaps. That's the one. Where is it? This one? Um, the one, no? Where is it? Daily levels and gaps. Uh, this one? One of these two. Yep, this one. Okay, so we're going to turn on weekly highs and we're going to turn on the fair value gaps. Okay, and we're going to go to our main ones, which look on Bitcoin, funding actually went negative at the top. Why did it? Well, if we look, Open interest came down. Why? It was longs taking profit. But this move up, this whole move up has been spot buying. So we don't necessarily need to give all that back, right? We actually see open interest price at 64, now priced at 65. Open interest is roughly the same, right? Open interest was the same here as it is here. So I don't, especially with the negative funding, that's crazy to me. Um, yeah. Now ETH doesn't have negative funding, but you can see that funding has been coming down. ETH doesn't look quite as healthy as Bitcoin. We actually have selling potentially, and we've got open interest up. So I like the idea of trying for a pull. I mean, there's no way. I don't necessarily want to short Bitcoin, but there's no way I can be a buyer when it's doing this right here. I can be a buyer lower. I can consider a couple buying on a pullback, but ETH actually is really weak and seems like it could definitely come back to this buy area, right? ETH actually has kind of been failing here. So I'm looking for ETH to enter this area, and maybe for Bitcoin, I mean, yeah, it could definitely go higher. Like, funding rate. Let's take a look. See, what did I make since I last logged in? 300 bucks. I think I was actually up 600 because one of them was down. All right, well, according to this, Bitcoin is not negative, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty long. People are pretty long, actually. So, um, this is just not the regime to be short anymore, so that's not going to happen. It's not the regime to be short. We've already got a pullback, actually. Let's look here. Funding went negative in here. Why? It was longs closing their positions is why. Not shorts entering. It's open interest going down. Longs closing their positions probably in profit, although it looks like some were opening their longs here and getting stopped out here. So let's look at possible options. Again, I'm not really wanting to be short anything. Popcat looked good, and I mean, there wasn't really a reason for me to be stopped out other than my stop was maybe too tight. But it's just probably not the right environment for shorts. Again, others, if we look at others, it's holding a breakout. So I I would want to see like a legit signal and then act on it. But we have a signal on Bitcoin. Although, you know what's interesting? I don't do the peak sell signal on Bitcoin because in the MTP backtesting, anytime price hits a monthly high, you can actually buy and not wait for a close above. And it's profitable. But the stop loss needs to be 3.4 ATR bounds away, which is, I'm not going to say it's crazy, but I don't actually want to trade that way. So this is where the stop would be, is we'd just buy right here, and I'd run my stop at 56. but I would much rather try to be more precise, whatever. Um, yeah, this is to me a dangerous place on the chart because it's Bitcoin. We took this, we took this. I expect we go higher, but are we going to pull back first? I'm a lot more comfortable with the ETH chart because this long seems much more likely that it will fill and that it might work. So I have those limits running right now, and it's just a question of, so I have options. One of my options would actually be to go long here, put my stop all the way down here, and I'm just taking a tiny position to get started. But I couldn't, this stop's like almost $10,000 away, so I couldn't take very much. Other possibilities, let's go to the 4 hour. I always like the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour on ETH. We have this area. So I could also consider this. Trading in these areas with my stop at this one, allowing for a sweep here. This would be a possibility on ETH. Look at where price stopped on ETH, by the way. I know it didn't initiate a major turnaround, but people really do trade the charts. But the charts are really revealing. And we would aim for up here. So this would be a possibility where we would say, but if I do this, then I cannot do this. So I don't really like this that much. This might be the place where price just stops retracing. Where did we're right where we TP'd. Because we look at this, man, like, it looks set up for more upside on Bitcoin. Like, it actually went negative in this range. Spot's been buying. Futures got super used to selling. Again, the danger is there's no, I really don't like being long here. Let's go to the 4 hour. So we have three areas, three possible areas. Okay, this one's interesting. This is 12 hour. I don't know. I would want to buy it, but I almost think it would be reasonable that price won't come down under this consolidation. It's like just drifting up, right? And it might make sense to have a nearer entry. Let's look at what happened, how price got up there, right? So swept this, retraced, swept these lows, moved up, retrace. What happened at 3 a.m.? This is our 3 a.m. Just volatility comes in, hit this, pullback. And look, we have another pullback right here even. We still need to be looking for longs here as price is now grinding towards all-time highs, right? So the question is getting into position and staying in position. Well, perhaps the trade that I was in should have stayed in position. I had the idea this is an issue that I've been having. It's getting out, getting back in, right? So whatever happens, I do want to trade in a way where I'm able to long here. So maybe for ETH, this doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense with this. And I like this one a lot more. And with Bitcoin, I could consider risking nearer. Where is all the volume? So let's look at this. You guys aren't gonna like this, but I'm gonna eat a little snack right now. Salted cashews. Okay. Um, Take a look. Just from a liquidation perspective, the idea of price pulling back to 63 kind of makes sense. And I also think I really, really do not like longing Bitcoin anywhere near this. But I mean, if we consider this as the major high, right? We closed right at it. Yeah, it's tough. Popcat. They're all succeeding right now. That said, the funding rate on alts is really hot. So it feels like a do not touch. Here's something to consider if you're watching. We talk about support resistance. Support and resistance doesn't always mean price turning around. Sometimes it means price spending more time at an area, right? Think about resistance like an obstacle course. An obstacle course doesn't necessarily make you turn around. It slows you down, right? So the market is at resistance. It doesn't necessarily mean it will turn around. Yeah. I mean, as of right now, it's just holding a breakout. And look at the way that we just cleared We cleared all these fair value gaps, created some, and how well these have been respected. This is people, this is you seeing live people chasing the market with limit orders. Even this one, but yeah, I don't know. I think like no pullback and we just go. Possible. Because once, I mean, the way these runs work is at first you get a couple pullbacks, and then you don't get a pullback. We're only 13% from all-time high. I didn't know that that would happen tomorrow, but that can happen in one day, right? Bitcoin can be explosive. Look at this move. 25% in 3 days. Once it broke out of the consolidation. I think it's possible. ETH again, it seems more likely possible it comes down. I definitely don't like shorting the market here. Again, the way others is holding above. Total 3. I would rather be late to the shorts than early, right? If we start to go down from here, we could take it, but I'd be more interested in price failing here or even here. And for now, um, focusing on longs only. Just random, I want to look at Daddy. Someone in my feed posted that they made stupid money off Daddy. Well, ran up and hit the old high. 3 out of 5 hours. Okay. Probably posted at the high. So here's the thing to consider is I think it's possible that we will not even see a limit order fill here. Let's look at fear and greed. And greed, but I just don't think that necessarily matters. So what I do know is I'm for sure leaving these orders that I have. 100%. 100% I'm leaving those. My only question is, do I put in another order, say something like this? And where would my target be from this? I would target all the way up here. I like it because of how far we can reach. So here's some options. I probably will, although I think it's possible that this doesn't even happen, right? So I want to pick an area that oh, again, which makes it so attractive is the spot buying. There was huge spot buying at the market, and then funding actually went negative up here because all the longs TP'd. I mean, I TP'd. I know how it is. I was there with you. Okay. Let's look at some random alts come back. Shiba's up. Shiba's the pump today. I kind of like waiting for lower. Jesus. Right. Wormhole brat. Yeah, I mean, it's just clean breakouts on all of these, which means to look for higher on most of these. Not that we wouldn't pull back first, but you cannot short things just because they're up. Very important. I mean, this is up, but it has no reason to turn around on the chart right now. If it fails at one of these highs, then you could consider, but that's not what's happening. Nothing's really giving a signal anyways, right? No, things are maybe close to it, but Pepe, yeah. I mean, we really may get that quarter four rally. AXL, TWT, MOG, it's just different things popping off. This one hit the resistance, doesn't seem to mind. The thing about some of these though, let's look at AXL, I'm curious. Right? Some point it's gonna happen. I still, yeah, we'll say yeah, the Popcat was kind of painful, but super negative. Okay, interesting. What does that mean? Is that traders are shorting this thing? And it's just not a good recipe. Yeah, ooh, this could go way higher. I want to leave them alone, but look. Yeah, open interest went up, but spot came in buying while perps were unloading and funding went negative. And we have a breakout. I don't really like to trade it that way, but yeah, that's something I would look at. Mog. This one looked exactly the same as the other one, almost. Well, I don't know, like they're coming into profit-taking areas. TWT is actually potentially a setup, so let's go ahead and look at this one. Maybe I can again hedge and consider. I think it's worth taking a little bit more time today. I'm going slow. It's taking me a while to figure out what I want to do here. But the market's in a key area that it's not in all the time. So here we see a huge increase in open interest. And there was spot buying, but spot is unloaded to a certain extent, and funding is pretty high. So TWT is possible, but again, this doesn't really look right to me. I want to see a big squirt and price coming back. I want to see a local failure. I want to see a 1 hour fair value gap, right? I don't see any of those things. Zeta just keeps coming up. Zeta, I tried selling lower. Where did I try selling it? No, I didn't. I thought I traded Zeta, but Zeta looks different. I did make money on Zeta, no? Yeah, I sold on, I don't know why. It's not showing up right. Zeta, ZRO, ETH-Fi. Okay. ETH-Fives. You know, these things can be true that meme, literal, it's called meme coin. They gave it a cheap price. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not interested in shorting alts when everything's breaking out. I will say Aave is interesting. It's been pulling back, showing relative weakness. So let's just look at Aave. But I need to be prepared to figure out what to do about Bitcoin. Actually, spot's been steadily accumulating, maybe. It looks like open interest has kind of drained out. The price went sideways, futures unloaded, so yeah, the question is to chase Bitcoin or to not chase Bitcoin. I want to chase it. And I do think it's possible it doesn't even, like, I will use a limit. I think it's possible it doesn't even come back and that this just, if we look at my understanding the chart here, we hit a major TP, everybody unloads their position, price pulls back, and immediately any gaps getting filled, like right here. I see it being chased right now. By what? By spot buyers, right? Okay, well, funding is going up. There is a way to do it to buy and put my stop at the low of today. I mean, if we consider it would be so much easier if price had closed above this. But here's the thing, price is like, yeah, it would be a lot easier. That said, like I mentioned before, statistically, buying price hitting the high. Ooh, silver is at a very interesting point. I'm really in the mindset of I don't want to throw away money, but also want to participate in what I've envisioned, which I have been participating in. Okay. Honestly, a stop market buy up here would be interesting to me as well. I kind of like that actually. So check it out. I'm going to disregard this. This is going to stay here at 62. Whatever. This is a maybe. My idea is, if we take this high, I can just aim for the next one. Where do I want my stop to be? Be like right here. How far away is that? It's like 1,600 away. The problem would be if price wants to go ahead and do this. So we need to be prepared for volatility. I think it's unlikely for Bitcoin to fill me at 62. I think that's unlikely. There was a lot of business done here. The people voted higher. So I like the idea of this breakout long. It's just a matter of where do I set my stop? Right? I know like buying the highs is usually not very good, but I think that here it could work pretty well. So my idea is one there. Where do I want my stop to be? Again, I will keep this order, but I'm just not expecting it to fill. Um, my expectation would be, what if I do a stop market buy only? That would be interesting, and I don't have a limit lower. That would be kind of interesting. Could also, yeah, have a lower. So this low shouldn't be taken. This one even. If we do, then we could come in here and I could be a buyer in this area. Which means my stop doesn't need to be all the way down here. It could maybe be right here. Now the way I could get really fucked up here is if price sweeps this high now and then comes back and stops me out. There's three. I like the lower one. It's such a dangerous place on the chart to be trying this, but on the other hand, we got price reclaiming the 200 SMA. We've got 6 months price suppression, trendline breakouts, taking a monthly high for the first time. There's so much that's bullish about this. We have funding went negative in this range. Open interest it's cleared out a little bit. Spot has supported this whole thing, right? So let's look at where Spot bought. Spot bought at the 64,120 area, right? Right? Therefore, we should expect this area. We should expect this area to be a good area. Sometimes the breakouts just do not work, right? Here's interesting. We can be late, right? To the shorts. The shorts could set up over the weekend, tomorrow, right? But nothing really looks that good right now. This one looks, again, I don't think I could, yeah, Trust Wallet looks tradable. It's just a matter of the chart doesn't really look right. I feel like it's better to wait, you know. I'll actually, I want there to be like a more local resistance, right? There's just not a lot of local resistance. I want the 1 hour gap to form and all that. So I'm gonna leave any kind of alt short alone for now. Although let's look at BNB. BNB is would maybe be shortable for where it's in the chart, but this is what I'm talking about where price can hit resistance. And what that means is its price starts to go through mud, not that it reverses, right? So this area, price is really slowing down, but maybe a BNB could be interesting. You guys know I like hedging my longs. So let's see what happened. Okay. I don't like it. I mean, you see a lot of open interest has come out from here to here. Yeah, spot's been sold a little bit, but this run up was maybe pushed a lot by buying. And we have actually funding coming down of longs unwinding, maybe shorts coming in, and it just doesn't look right. So it's just a matter of getting in. And this is my idea, something like this. I know that I want to keep these lower. I know that. However, does not feel like a place to short. Everything that I look at for a short doesn't look quite right, right? Um, I mean, it honestly it looks like we're close, but I don't think today is the day. Honestly, this one looks pretty good, even if we didn't hit a major target. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. I like, if I'm going to be taking longs, I really like being hedged with shorts. Sometimes they both work. Um, CBD. Honestly, this one looks pretty decent. I think this is a good place to start, actually. Since we already made a gap and rejected in the gap, that's also very positive. So, and the chart looks correct. Ave didn't look right. Okay. So this one, I like taking this one. Just gonna start with that. It's not the most liquid thing. I guess that's why I got hurt on Popcat. Why do I like this one? Because it created a local resistance. It created a local failure. The market is super hot, and Bitcoin is giving a sell signal. And this one, funding went positive finally. Is a huge increase in open interest. Open interest doubled, and I know it's a lot of longs, and spot's been selling. Honestly, it looks great. Let me get in here. Honestly, it looks really good. Okay. And then maybe I won't chase Bitcoin. Okay, SCI market. The amount is going to be, figure out, 20,000, 15,000. I'm going to put my stop loss at, on the 1 hour. It's pushing, I like that it's moving lower at the very moment. 0. I can put it at 0.5. Shouldn't go that high, and it's just, I mean, if it goes that high, I'm okay with it. Stop loss 0.5. Okay. I'm risking an appropriate amount. I don't want to risk more, honestly, but, and then we're going to look for this whole move, this part of the move to reverse to here, to 0.4, 0.36. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I don't want to risk slightly more on this one, honestly. Okay. I'm gonna log this. Arguably, it doesn't fit my entry model. Yeah, what do I even call this? It's not an MTP. It's an alt below off top. Exit model. Limit, alt high, stop loss. I put error here. Confluence, PTC sell, signal, PTC peak sell, CVD spot sell, interest up, funding up, problems, lots of breakouts, but I think this one looks okay, maybe. Back to Bitcoin. I kind of like just having the breakout. Almost like just having a breakout. But the problem with that is that maybe it's not, the position's not big enough. But it's like, if we're coming back and taking this high, yo, forget about it. This is gonna act as a resistance. So 65,800. Okay, I like having the stop market order on Bitcoin. And then I would say hopefully it doesn't get filled and price dumps all the way back here. But if it quickly comes and gets up there, this seems like the way to go. And again, I identified this as as a really strong possible support where I could consider the problem would be if I get taken out of the tapped into the first one first, right? 65,800 to 63,800. I can only do half at most, which is fine, I guess. So let's do that. Trigger, open stop market at 65,800 at market price. I will buy half. My stop loss will be at 63. No, it's even more. Yeah, 63, 270. Say 63, 250. And then my target would be the next high, which would be 70,000, 70,100. And it's going to be 0.5. Okay. So there it is. Um, Trigger limit. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to have this one down here. It'd be pretty easy to lose both of these, honestly. Um, and then I will have a limit on Bitcoin at 64, 125. Why does it say BBO? The stop loss can be 60, 63, 250. What's going on here? Limit. I never see this BBO thing. I see. Okay. So I'm gonna limit also down here at 64, 125. And this is gonna be a bigger position. My TP is gonna be again at 70,100. And my stop loss is gonna be at 63, 250. Okay, gonna look. It's possible to lose a lot. Okay. Right, I mean, there's scenarios where we fail at the high. I haven't done a stop market in a while, but I feel like it makes sense here. So for this one, there's a world where I just bought the or sold like as low as it's gonna go, but let's take a look at it. It's been selling off, right? It can move against me, and I'm committed to it now. But what we've seen since price got up here was funding has gotten hot up in this range. Price failed to make a new high, and spot has been selling off. Haha. Obviously, I don't like how it started. The waiting would have been pretty good, but it's all good. Area. Popcat could maybe be working. It was not far from my entry. I mean, actually, my entry was down here. Entry was not the best, but there's worlds where, again, we sweep the high and then come down, but no, it's okay. Just what I don't want to see is Bitcoin sweeping the high and then aggressively dumping, which can happen, but with the market lifting, I think it's just like look at how I can long and any number of ways. Good call. Yeah. All right, folks. Happy trading. Much love and peace.